Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Orlando Market Update. I hope everybody's having a fantastic week. Today is Friday, and I just wanted to send a quick update. It's been a little while since I sent you an update, and I just wanted to keep you current of what's going on. First things first, this article that you're looking at now, I always get these questions of how's the market, and it's a little strange. All the reports show great things. In terms of median income prices rising. Our inventory is still low. Interest rates are still great. Demand is still there. It's a strong market for sellers to sell. And you got all these reports. However, there are some gaps in the market that us with boots on the ground are seeing or feeling. And there was a little bit of a lull that took place in the market. Which was strange because all the reports, such as this one and many others, are showing such strength. But it's interesting, and so I wanted to include 4 articles today for you to see, just to get a quick overview of some things I thought was interesting that you guys could, keep updated on, depending if you're a seller or a buyer. But this has some interesting statistics on it and what it's talking about. And as I said, our inventory here locally is still hovering at about 4 months. The interest rate environment is fantastic if you're a buyer thinking about transitioning into home ownership or possibly moving up. The rate of borrowing money is still relatively cheap. With inventory low and interest rates where they're at, and demand being where it should cause a great environment for sellers to capitalize on selling their home. And with rent increasing dramatically, a lot of buyers are making that decision to transition into home buying. So again, I wanted to include this article, give you a little update. I felt that this article was interesting as well. We talk about we'll get some questions regarding condos, and this millennial versus baby boomers in the condo market is interesting because it's kind of speaking about baby boomers kind of pushing away millennials as they're downsizing and getting smaller living spaces, and millennials having a harder time either because of debt or not wanting to sort of transition into home ownership as quickly as past generations, and the baby boomers sort of squeezing out the millennials. As far as this article is concerned, in my opinion, the condo market won't be where it really could be unless we start to provide a supply of financing available for young millennials, right? Instead of just having to be an all-cash buyer, it's tough to buy a condo where you either have to have 25% down from a conventional loan standpoint, or the particular community is not FHA approved, which many are not here locally, and you can't secure a nice low sort of entryway down payment. I think that causes a big concern and a problem for someone that would like to own something, a young millennial, but doesn't have $70,000 to $125,000 cash to buy something. So there's an article. All these will be linked below. I thought this was really strong, and this article, 50% of today's renters plan to buy within 2 years. I mean, take a look at this. This is a survey that was done. I thought it was really, really interesting. Something to the sense of 51% of respondents said money is their main concern, and not having saved enough or having too much debt, right? So that's their concerns of getting into home ownership. But look at the renting landscape. Once rent hits $1,000 or $1,100, that's when, in their mind, they're saying, I need to buy a home. And over half of the respondents have had a significant rent increase, with average rents increasing by nearly $300 over the past 2 years. So we all know here locally, we see the apartment communities going up everywhere, rent rising dramatically. The multifamily space is really pushing forward, and that has really allowed renters to consider home ownership if they're paying the same, if not more sometimes, in rent than buying a home. I think the next discussion has to be how to help them get into a house and present programs that will allow them, just in the event that they haven't saved up enough reserves in order to pay for an adequate down payment and closing costs. Okay, so that's the second discussion that needs to be brought out to the surface, and how to help them transition from renting to home ownership. I think that really needs to take place. And just a quick reference, if you're a buyer listening to this or know of a buyer, please don't think 20% conventional is the only product out there. I mean, not enough people are taking advantage of this 3% conventional loan. I mean, 3% conventional, it's less than the FHA at 3.5%. Now, obviously, everybody's got a different circumstance, and you've got to qualify depending on the guidelines. But these are things that need to be talked about if, in fact, you're on that fence or you're heading in that direction. And then the last discussion, I know it's hard for me to keep it short, guys, so passionate about sharing information. But bargains await those willing to commute. This article doesn't speak specifically about our market, but I find it funny because I'm getting more customers that are thinking about, they want to extend their dollars. So they're willing to stretch to Claremont, South Davenport, here on the east side, right, Wedgefield. They're sort of going to the outer limits of the city core because prices have rose so dramatically in the past 2 years. They want to get a house. They don't want to overextend themselves. They want the feeling of home ownership. They want to get what they want to get. And they want to do it at an acceptable price point to them. So if they're willing to commute, sometimes bargains could be had. So that's the last article for today. I hope everybody's doing really, really well. If you have any questions, you know that you can come to me and my team. We're here to support you, help you, educate you, and empower you to make the right choices. And thank you so much for your time. Have a fantastic weekend. Take care.